Hey guys, Todagia here. Tonight I'm going to go over for the wild living just a couple of choices in knives. These are the three knives that I carry whenever I go out. Have the Kukuri. This, guys, is excellent. Absolutely excellent. As you can see, when I purchased this, this is cold steel weapon quality. When I purchased this, it was just the blade. I bought it wholesale like this, was able to get it quite a bit cheaper. So as you can see, what I did here is I just paracorded a handle out. Now eventually I will be making plates for this, skins, as well as a sheath. However, I've not found the proper materials that I want to use yet. So for now, it's just the paracord wrap with a lanyard just for safety purposes. The great thing about the Kukuri, you know, the Kukuri is a very versatile knife. As you can see, due to the blade curvage here, the downward chopping motion of this is almost as good as an axe. Now down here on this lower end of the blade, you want this little portion right here to be a little bit sharper. Now what you do with that, you see that it has the two little cutouts here so that you can get a good grip with your fingers. And the reason you want this part sharper right here, guys, is so that when you're working with something, you can really choke down and get some good detail work on this. So that goes with me anytime I go out. Next is a Smith & Wesson Oasis folder. Folder wise, this is one of the better quality folders I've found. It's really good. I've used this for batoning. It's pretty good keep on an edge. Good for detail work when you're carving or whenever you're doing something like that. All in all, a pretty good knife. We'll go over this in a second. Now this one right here, guys, this is what I call a throwaway knife. I purchased this knife from Bud K for, I believe, $12. As a throwaway knife, it's great. There are some issues with it, of course, being a $12 knife. Yeah, she's back. Yeah, she's over here. She's fine. Now, of course, with this being, you know, a $12 knife, it does have its disadvantages. The tang on this is a rat tail tang, very poor quality. As you can see, the blade is very poor quality. It does have a little bit of a saw edge. The saw edge is actually pretty decent and will saw stuff. Now, this knife, other than the value of it being a throwaway, does have one advantage that I'd like to talk about. This knife has an excellent button compass. Whenever you go out, you always want a compass. Learn how to use it. These things are great. Another thing that this survival knife comes with, of course, is a little survival kit. Now, in the survival kit, you got a waterproof pencil that's not very good quality. You have a razor blade. always nice to have razor blades with you. And then you have this little package. Let me bust it open real quick. As you can see, my throwaway knife has had a lot of usage, and I don't really keep up with it the way I do my other knives. You know, because like I said, it's a throwaway knife. It's there for if you need something to allow you to do something without. If you want to use this as a hunting spear tip, something like that, you can break this blade off or even take it off really easy. You can attach it to a piece of wood, use it as a spear. You can attach it as a to a trap and use it as your killing portion of your trap. Okay, so in my little survival kit, I've made a couple changes to this. Here's what I have and why. First off, have a couple safety pins in there, guys. Safety pins are excellent in the field. You can always turn a safety pin into a fishing rod. Very easy. Once again, a couple more matches. Always want to make sure you can get fire. These have also been dipped in wax. A good needle. A good needle is very valuable when you don't have anything else. If you need to stitch something up, it's excellent. This can get into places that other stuff can't. This can also be made into a fishing hook if you run out. I personally like to carry fishing hooks with me. I carry very small fishing hooks. You don't need anything really big. You know, I'm not out there obviously doing any sea fishing or anything. Just real small hooks. A couple sinkers. These are just your regular sinker, ball sinkers that you put on your line, squeeze them tight. A good hank of fishing line. A little bit. I have other sandpaper with me, but I always like to have just a little piece. This was bigger before the last time we went out, and I did use some of it, so now it's a lot smaller. I've got to replace that. And then two just little bent rods. Now these little bent rods can come into all kinds of neat little tricks. I'll do a video on just using some of this stuff someday when I'm out in the woods. Also with this knife, and remember, like I said, this was only $12 through Bud K, guys. Real cheap. It does have a sanding stone, but this sanding stone, guys, or this sharpening stone, is junk. It is completely junk. Plain and simple. However, what it does have, it has an emergency whistle, which, you know, if you're trying to signal somebody and you really are in a bad situation, it can help. It has prongs for use with a slingshot. Not very good. That's why I've got this extra bit of paracord tied on here so that I can hold this down when I'm playing with my slingshot. I definitely would not try to take any game with this slingshot. It is very poor quality. And then it has this little piece right here that you slide your knife into, and you can then use it as a cutting tool. Now, my experience using that as a cutting tool, seriously guys, if you're using it on small limbs and stuff of that nature, cool. It works really well. If you try to use it on anything more stable, like a chain link fence, you run into some very serious issues very quickly. As you can see here, maybe, I don't know how well the camera picks it up, there's a very serious ding right here. That was from trying to cut a chain link fence, guys. It didn't go too well. It took me a very long time to work that out just to the point that it is right now. And it's crappy. Okay, so there's one last thing that this offers that I want to go over. Okay, so here is the last little bit. So you've got, I don't know, they try and call this a spear tip. Definitely not a spear tip. I mean, I guess in a tight pinch it could be used as such. However, this end right here does work very well for a can opener, and so does that end. Here is my rubber for my slingshot. Like I said, not too great quality, guys, but hey, $12, can't complain. And like I said, this is just a completely cheap throwaway type knife. And then it all fits back in all nice and clean. It fits in better whenever I take the time to put it in correctly, but I'm not worried about that right now. One last point of advice. I do not believe that they actually put this in for this purpose. However, I have found out that if you just pop this in right here, you have a very effective signaling mirror. On top of that, you also have one more way of trying to start your fire. It's pretty difficult with a reflective surface to get the angle right to actually light any tinder with it, but it can be done. Now,